Hello, welcome to 3537 Crittenden, here in the Tower Grove East neighborhood, St. Louis, Missouri. This is a really unique home. It was built for a reverend back in 1901 and not completed until 1905, to give you a scope of how much work went into this home. It's a very unique home in many ways, and most importantly, it retains many of the special features that it was built with. Looking at the front, you can see the dormers at the top and a slate roof with a clay tile ridge cap. This is a 3-story home, about 4,500 square feet. It does have the finished attic, which was something done at that era. I'm not sure if it was used as a children's playroom, but we'll see that when we get to it. Coming around, you can see how much there's a side entrance as well. You can see how much work went into every aspect of it. These columns, Doric or Ionic tops, I don't know what you call it, Greco-Roman something or other. I can't remember my styles that well. Probably remember it when I'm done looking at it. And copper gutters, absolutely beautiful. But it actually shines more on the inside than it does at the front. Coming up the front porch, we have a tiled porch area. Nice brickwork around the front door, and this house is chock full of stained glass. Or leaded glass, if you will. Coming inside, so the Reverend who had this built used it as his office as well as his personal residence. You can see that they've built a waiting bench, or these are pretty common even when homes weren't used for professional purposes. But in this case, it obviously is a place to wait while waiting for the good Reverend, who, based on this house, must have been a very popular reverend and very successful. So we have his office through here, and you can tell the way that this is set up for professional use. We have the receiving room here, probably where his secretary or someone would have been. And then his personal office through here, where it was said he did healings and consulted with people, with parishioners. And this does have its own private side entrance as well. So I'm not sure which room was which, whether he used the front one or the side one, but anyway, it has both of these, and an original, or at least really nice period light fixture here too. This is in the era where I don't know what the lighting would have been at the time. This one in here is clearly a little bit more Art Deco style, so that was installed later. But let me just get the stained glass through here, because it's always lovely when the daylight shines, even if it's backwards. And then we're coming through into the living room here, or front parlor. And while I'm here, I'll just show you this. So if you haven't seen a pocket door before, you push a little button at the bottom and then pull a little handle out, and that opens and closes it. I'm not going to do it here. Really good sized living room. And let's get a little close up on this mantelpiece. Beautiful woodwork on that. And this type of tile was very common at this time for fireplace use. So this house did have steam heat from new, so the fireplaces are just for decoration more so than actual heating use. Coming through into the formal dining room. Have another fireplace. Beautiful. grate there. And then in keeping with the house of this quality, we have a butler's pantry. This looks to be the original fixture or furniture in it. Keep the china. So then we come through into the kitchen. And the kitchen has definitely been updated since it was new. It was likely for anyone like this, they had a cook, so it was a much more functional space than it would have been a decorative one. But this has an enormous amount of counter space, cabinet space, and does still maintain a nice open look. Centered around the island, we have a pantry wall here, and even further cabinets all around, and a little breakfast area. And obviously a normal little pantry there too. So once we come through here, I'll take us back upstairs first. So I'll have us go up through the main staircase. And we do have a little powder room here, which may well have been added later. I don't think that would have been, there could have been an old toilet there or an old bathroom, I don't know. But you'll see here as we come up these stairs, this is the formal set of stairs for the owner and guests. And then we have a service staircase here which goes to the kitchen. Again, beautiful millwork on the staircase. Something I don't see too often, we have stained glass here in the interior of the home, shining through. And we have bedrooms on this level. Even though the lights are on, it's a little dark in these. But lots of window space. This is a nice bedroom. Looks out onto this sleeping porch. And as you've seen on other homes of this era, we do have a pass-through door between these two bedrooms to allow people to go back and forth between the two without having to go in the hall and let all the heat out. Again, that was much more common in earlier homes than this. By this time, it was slightly more redundant because you do have efficient steam heat. But one thing I do want to point out, we have a functional transom in here for the summertime. No matter how much money one had, one could still not have air conditioning because it had yet to be invented for residential use this early. It was obviously installed later, which are those round vents you see everywhere in the ceiling. Here's the primary bedroom, or owner's suite, and this looks to be on its original layout. It has its own little sitting room here. And stained glass on both sides. So this is a particularly beautiful window. I like the casements on either side of the main sash window in the middle. And then this one, looking at the hardware on it, the chain and the little catch, it looks like it was used also for ventilation purposes as a transom to allow the front room to get through ventilation. Coming through, we have the owner's bathroom. I don't know whether this was added later. It may well have been, and I'm thinking there's a good chance it was actually another bedroom at the time, which it was very uncommon to have a separate bathroom for the primary bedroom. Little toilet cubicle. It's the size that would be appropriate for a closet. So that's what my thought is. Nice soaking tub, beautiful shower, double vanity. And the woodwork here you can see is a slightly different style and color than downstairs. So it was done with a different tone to it. It's much lighter in the downstairs. And then back here, we have this is all part of the primary bedroom, but this is a closet. And I think, based on the size of this room, It may have originally been the maid's room because it just seems like it was designed and laid out to be a quite small bedroom, and that's usually what those are for. We have main floor laundry, which obviously is a modern addition. Main bathroom, and this looks like it maintains much of the original marble on the walls. That was a common feature in luxury homes at this time. It was sanitary in one piece without grout to have to keep cleaned. And it also just looks beautiful. This has a penny tile floor, or hexagonal tile floor, I guess you'd say. That looks like it's reproduction, not original, but I would imagine the original would be similar to that. And then through this door, we have the sleeping porch. So when it was really hot, you could bring cots out here and sleep in the screen porch so that you wouldn't burn up inside the brick house, which absorbed heat all day. And we're not done. There's still more up to go. So coming up to the top floor, we have some unusual rooms that look to be original based on these partitions. So you can see these are quite thin partitions up here. These rooms were not designed to be used that much in the summertime because it would have been excruciatingly hot before air conditioning. But this could have been set up as a playroom or perhaps an extra office. I don't know, maybe even the good Reverend held services up here, who knows. But I will have some information on the original history of the house, which previous owners have researched. The finish up here is not as old as the house. You can see this beadboard probably was here, but most of the rest of this has been done in paneling, which probably replaced an earlier finish. And we just have a mechanical room in here, but this is quite interesting too. There's some kind of built-in. I don't know what that would have been for. That may have been something the owner specified the builders to put in for a very specific purpose. When you have custom homes, it's always hard to tell what people were doing and why. But even this paneling, which wasn't meant to be high-quality wood at the time, this was just service wood, is beautifully stained. One other thing about this house that's interesting is just how straight the floors are and how level. It's not all up and down, wibbledy-wobbledy like you usually see in a lot of older homes. And there is a reason for that too. Let me see here. I think I'm going the wrong way. Yeah. Trying to find the service stairs, which were hidden. And, oh yeah, that's right. We go down the main staircase halfway, back to the service stairs. As I was saying, they built this house using exceptionally over-engineered materials for a residential structure. It really is built like a commercial building would be, a high-rise or a office building meant to support much more weight. We'll see that in a minute when we go in the basement. But first, I want to check out the backyard. It's a beautiful city yard. Nice patio area. There's some period-appropriate iron fencing. And this carriage house, I'm pretty sure was not a garage. Or if it was built 10 or 15 years after the house itself. Coming back around, you can see a little pond there. So this carriage house is a brick structure. Looks to be similar in age to the home. So it was either built in the 20s when cars became popular, or it was built to keep your actual carriage in. Doesn't look like it was built for a stable use, although I see some things which are uncommon. We have a big drain in the middle, and there is a chimney here for a wood stove, as well as water connections. And check out this really cool old electrical switch. I don't think it's still connected anymore, but it looks cool nonetheless. You can get a good view of the slate roof from the rear too. And the condition of this house is just amazing. Most of the time I can find little flaws here and there as I go through. I don't see anything on this one that looks like it's sagging or waving or anything like that. And there's a reason for that, which we're going to see here in just a moment. As we descend into the basement, we have an unfinished basement. Oftentimes I don't show these because there's not much to see and they're not that interesting. This one, though, is. So for this era of construction, you'd usually have wood beams supporting it, which then rested on wood posts. Those often rotted over time. Here, however, we have a twin I-beam system supported by steel columns on some massive footings. And that is why this house just feels so solid. The basement's also been fireproofed, which is why it has a ceiling in it. That was quite common to do at the time. Have little rooms here and there. That's probably just for storage. And we do have the boiler system. Again, I love these. They're just great for heat. And then as we come through into the back of the basement, you can see, again, this was built on a brick stem wall to support it. So, overbuilt as well. We have here, I'm guessing this may have been like an old school laundry sorting basket here, and there may have been laundry tubs in the original layout. Because as we look through this room, we can see what I see in a lot of these homes, a blob of concrete, which was likely where the servant's toilet would have been. So that now finishes our tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll post some more information on this home, some links to further information on it too. Thank you.